InkSlingers TV, where we dive into the story shaping life for young people in Malaysia. I'm Zixuan.
And I'm Yixin. Tonight, we uncover the stories behind the headlines. Trump's new tariff targets Malaysia, and it might cost Malaysian GMs more than we think. Tensions rise again between India and Pakistan. What does it mean for those from both sides currently residing in Malaysia? And renovation meant to improve student living? We'll get to that story in a bit.
But we start things off with US President Donald Trump's 24% tariffs on Malaysia. Just what does this mean for Gen Zs, and how does it affect our future plans, jobs, and cost of living? Jocelyn has the story.
On April 3rd, US President Donald Trump announced a 24% tariff on Malaysian goods entering the United States as part of a broader trade policy. Key Malaysian industries, including palm oil, machinery, furniture, rubber, plastics, electrical, and electronics, are expected to feel the impact.
Now, when we talk about tariffs, so tariffs is basically just the tax which is imposed on imported products. Usually when we talk about tariffs, we are always talking about import tariffs, which are taxes that the local government imposes on foreign government or importers to bring in things for us. So when we impose an additional tax on their goods and services become expensive in our market. So our goods and services that we produced in our local market becomes cheaper and the demand is supposed to go up. So that's the entire idea of tariff. Similar to other countries, US is a big market for Malaysia, especially for electronics, semiconductors. Now, how it would impact Malaysian economy if the import tariffs hold is it'll become very expensive for us to send products to US. When that happens, which would mean that the demand for our products is going to go down. That means people who are working, Malaysians who are working in these industries, they will start losing jobs.
While tariff may sound like a distant policy issue, their long-term effects could have serious implications for Malaysia's future, especially for the next generation.
So there are a couple of aspects that I want to touch upon when we talk about Generation Z. These aspects can be branched out into two. One is your consumption part and the other one is your earning part. So when you're looking at consumption, of course, consumption is going to get expensive. But for the products that were being imported from other countries, things are going to get expensive for Malaysians for products which we hike import tariffs on. Okay, because of the trade war. Secondly, things can also get expensive for products that you're consuming locally, but those local products use intermediate goods that were being produced outside. And if you look at our local made cars, Perodua might be. Now, Perodua might be quite possible the tires are coming from, suppose it's coming from US and Malaysia decides to import them, but now it's expensive because they could have hiked up the price as well. Not just locally produced goods, even things like iPhones. So the price of iPhones, all this is going to go up. So this is the negative consequence. But there is a positive consequence to it as well. Reason being, we can support our local industry and make them grow, not just in terms of volume, but also in terms of variety. As a matter of fact, it might be worrisome for somebody who is trying to enter the job market probably in the next 6 months, yes, but things are going to stabilize in a year or two. It is not going to be the same.
As one of the United States' major trading partners, Malaysia is expected to experience rising living costs, and the younger generation may face greater challenges in securing stable employment in the future. But how much do young people truly understand about the potential impact on their future?
To be honest, I don't really know much about tariff, but hearing that it could affect the industries and economies, and I'm a bit uncertain about my future. As someone in the media production student, I think that if affected companies are looking to work with local production houses for advertising content, they might have smaller budgets and that could lead to fewer job opportunities for people like me after graduation. Although nothing is confirmed yet in terms of how it will impact the industry directly, just imagining scenarios like this is quite scary.
It has been a month since the tariff were imposed, and while the immediate impact may not be strongly felt yet, the ripple effects could surface in the months ahead. Let's hope the situation stabilizes and that young Malaysians are ready to face what lies ahead. This is Jocelyn Ng Xiaoqi for the InkSlingers TV.
Tensions between India and Pakistan are making headlines again. Zixuan spoke to members of the Indian and the Pakistani communities here on how things at home are affecting them.
On April 25th, India and Pakistan exchanged heavy fire along the line of control in Kashmir. After multiple rounds of negotiations, a ceasefire agreement was reached out on May 10th. However, that very night, fierce clashes erupted between the two sides' air forces. Both of them claimed that the other was the first to start the attack. Tensions between India and Pakistan continue to disrupt the lives of citizens there. As of May 8th, India reported that at least 13 civilians were killed and 59 injured in the shelling. Numerous homes, schools, and places of worship around the border have collapsed. Villagers were struggling to rebuild. Some have fled to temporary shelters and remain too afraid to return. Following the suspension of the water sharing agreement, the Shenam River within Pakistan's territory has experienced a dramatic decline in water levels. The closure of borders has led to a disruption in trade and shortages of essential goods.
Since they're fighting for the land, they can't even use the land anymore because it's polluted with like all the bombs and mines and gunshots, this and that. So I think the citizens definitely, Indian citizens who are living in Pakistan or Pakistani citizens living in India have conflict with the people there itself. So I think if we are going to pick a side, we should pick neither of them and pick humanity instead.
Given that both countries possesses over 100 nuclear warheads, there is widespread international concern over the escalating tensions. The United States, China, and the United Nations have launched urgent diplomatic efforts, urging the resumption of water sharing negotiations and an independent third-party investigation to prevent a regional security catastrophe. I'm Zixuan, reporting from InkSlingers TV. Constant drilling and strong smells. Ongoing renovations at U residence are making student life harder for some. Ningxing finds out how these upgrades are affecting residents.
U Residence is the flagship on-campus hotel. Since May 2024, U Residence has been undergoing renovation, affecting both public area and the room interiors. This project aimed at improving the living environment has caused many problems during the implementation process. The renovation noise continues all day, seriously disturbing the residents' sleep and study. And the frequent handling of building materials take up space in the lift, making it overcrowded at peak time. Much equipment was put into use immediately after renovation. Paint and glue emit a pungent odor and produce a lot of harmful gases.
During the renovation days, the lift is very dirty and the lift is not functioning well, so I need to wait for a long time for the only one well-functioning lift. I think there's not a big difference between before and after the renovation room. The renovated room looks nicer, but the room size is still very small and very packed. If you have too much things put, it's still very expensive compared to somewhere else outside. When I just moved into the new hostel, I don't even know the water heater is spoiled, and then I complained for a few times.
Because the renovation also makes the rent price higher, right? So many students will consider because the price is too high. Even though it's good, it's nice enough for the vibes, but for the room space, it seems like too compact, not spacious. Because some of us maybe really need the spacious room lah.
Today, U Residence is still the first choice for many Taylor students, but there are many areas for improvement. Hoping the residence office will be able to take effective measures to reduce disturb and protect the rights and interests of residents during the renovation, make improvement based on comfort, and improve the quality of life. I'm Ningxin reporting from InkSlingers TV.
Coming up after the break, we look at smart spending habits to top study destinations. All that and more coming up.
Welcome back. From budgets to big prices, Taylor students are getting a hands-on lesson in financial literacy. Jana went on the ground to uncover just what it takes to learn about managing our money.
Right now in Lecture Theatre 20, all eyes are on Taylor's University as Canberra Bijakmong 2025, the adventure kicks off. Habiba Abdullah, Senior Financial Advisor at Agency Counseling Dan Pengurusan Credit AKPK, the guest speaker at the workshop, shared tips on setting financial goals, managing spending, avoiding debt traps like buy now, pay later, and warned about scams while explaining insurance basics. Afterwards, we spoke with the president of Taylor's AKPK Club about how the collaboration came to be and what new elements they plan to introduce beyond the competition.
Canberra Bijawang is a workshop which incorporates gamify element with educational talk. So we aim to make financial talk more fun, more engaging, and a platform for students to learn for themselves. Firstly, HSBC has a program, this program Canberra Bijawang with AKPK Malaysia. So they curated the platform part with AKPK, and AKPK contributed on the course part, on the content part. And me, Taylor's AKPK Club, we provided the venue, we outsourced the logistic, we get the participants, everything for a venue for the phase 1 of the event.
After the workshop, attendees learned about the competition and how to register. We also spoke with Sheetaljit Bains from AKPK Malaysia.
So what happened was HSBC approached AKPK as a subject matter expert, and with the thought that they want to improve the financial literacy levels of students nationwide, as well as provide practical financial knowledge. So what they decided was we want to have a session with students. So the role that HSBC is playing is as someone who is very into structured module for dissemination to the youth. Is the lack of cash flow management. The other one is lack of financial protection, and the third is scams. How to avoid them? One is to engage and join, participate in programs such as the financial literacy program here. The other one is, of course, continuous learning. And then we also have to keep up to track with all the available tools that are out there. The main thing that they can take away is learning over winning. Second thing is the practical experience that you actually get from this. So you'll be given to a lot of real life scenarios. Not only that, you're put into groups. So here we are also looking at building more critical thinking, decision making, and teamwork. Also 3 very important things in the working industry. And the third one, of course, is financial empowerment.
From spotting scams to planning ahead, students just didn't take away notes, but with a clear sense of direction for their financial plan ahead. I'm Zainab Murshid with InkSlingers TV.
More Chinese students are choosing Malaysia for their education. Cameron takes a look at this growing trend and what it means for local universities.
In recent years, Malaysia has rapidly climbed the rank as a top study destination for Chinese students. Their growing presence is making a lasting impact across Malaysia. So, what is behind this growing trend? The number of Chinese students applying to university in Malaysia has surged by 25% last year. Many Chinese students are drawn by a less competitive environment and degrees that are earning more recognition around the world. The English entry requirement in Malaysia is slightly lower compared to the Western countries, yet it still provides high-quality English medium education, making it an appealing stepping stone for Chinese students.
Compared to previous study destinations like US, UK, Australia, or Canada, the cost of living in Malaysia is much lower. The food country here is also very friendly to Chinese students, with lots of Chinese restaurants and hot pot place. Malaysia maintains strong diplomatic relationship with China, and its coast are a relatively safe country.
Malaysia is a safe and stable place to study, with a low crime rate that helps Chinese students and parents feel more at ease.
Most of the
Malaysia University program are taught in English, which is good for improving my English language skills. But since there is a large Chinese-speaking community here, it's easier for me to adapt, communicate, and feel more comfortable studying abroad. It's more than just academic learning. Being in Malaysia has helped me grow as a person. I've become more independent and open-minded.
For these students, being surrounded by similar culture, familiar language, and staying close to home makes studying abroad feel less intimidating. As more Chinese students choose to study in Malaysia, the country is emerging not only as a top choice for international education, but also a second home for them where they feel a sense of belonging. This is Chong Carmen reporting from the InkSlingers TV.
Forget cafe hopping, postcard class, and late-night meetups are gaining popularity across Kuala Lumpur. From custom builds to community runs, the city's car culture is growing louder. Our resident scarehead Shannon went on the ground meeting the drivers, keeping this scene alive.
When car culture meets cafe culture, you get Fuel and Cafe in Kuala Lumpur, a Sunday morning hosted by local community petrol head markets and if only uniting sports car, JDMs and coffee lovers alike.
Mostly because it's my brother. He attends a lot of meets and race tracks at Sepang, so I was interested into it. It means that it's a way to learn about cars and meet new people to get an idea of how car culture is in Malaysia.
Fuel and Cafe in KL is more than a car show, it's about community, coffee and connection. Engine raw, coffee brewed, and guests enjoyed a 10% treat. Whether you are here for horsepower or house blend, these lifestyles meet passion. Fuel and Caffeine rolls on. See you at the next stop. This is Shannon from InkSlinger.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at how kickball is making its way onto our feet and how Chinese students at tailors are dealing with stereotypes that follow them around campus.
Thanks for staying with us. Life abroad as a university student comes with ups and downs. We take a look now at the stereotypes Chinese students at Taylor's University face. Yuxin has a story.
Taylor's University has been pushing towards international recognition, welcoming students from all over the world. Among them, students from China now form one of the largest international groups on campus. But being everywhere doesn't mean being free from stereotypes, and that's where things get complicated. Ever wondered how Chinese students are really seen here at Taylor's? Let's spoke to voice from 3 different perspectives.
In the class, when Chinese people and other students are going to grouping, so some local students, they will not waiting to group with Chinese people.
To conclude about this stereotype is about them coming here with the lack of comprehensibility in English and as well as their ability in writing and speaking in English. And the second stereotype is that a lot of Chinese came to Malaysia just because they are here to have fun. So with these two things, with these two aspects where they complement each other, they are not good enough and therefore they came to Malaysia to study. And this stereotype raises skepticism among a lot of people where they don't really want to work with Chinese.
I can understand what's, is also about efficiency, right? Do work, want to be fast, want to finish up fast. So you do with someone you're comfortable with and finish in 3 days. I want to grow up with random people that you don't talk to.
I think this is very detrimental to those that are very detrimental and unfair to the Chinese that actually have a really good foundation in English and trying to pursue something overseas, yet was treated this way, which means that they weren't really received with a good hospitality.
I think in the long run, it's not very positive. I think everyone should be able to work with everybody. Like what I said just now, when I was teaching here for the first year, I had a bit of culture shock. But I feel students here, they are also having culture shock. It's also their first time studying with Chinese students, they never really study with Chinese students for the past 25 years, right? This is the first time for them too. But I think the students have to get through the culture shock part. because as a lecturer, I've been through, like at first for sure I complained, like the last year I was like, I really don't know how to deal with it. But this year I'm much better. And same goes to student. I feel like group mate is also a bit like that. You first have culture shock, then you are not happy. Then don't let the experience defeat you and don't group up with any other international anymore. You should work with international.
Every story we heard today reminded us we are more than the labels we wear. Thanks for watching. I'm Yuxin, reporting from InkSlingers TV. It's fast, fun, and suddenly everywhere. Pickleball is the afterward sport of choice, but will this hype last? Isha takes us to see what's driving the buzz and whether it's built to last.
It's popping up everywhere. It is almost as if courts are opening every other week. Over 5,000 posts under the hashtag Pickleball Malaysia on Instagram, the sport's digital footprint is growing fast. But does that mean it's here to stay? While social media paints one picture, we spoke to casual players Faris and Yusuf, who has experienced the local pickleball scene firsthand.
Now in the social media era, everyone is posting about pickleball here and there. So I think that's how it got trending on social media.
How it trended is it's not actually a sports now already. It's actually, honestly to me, it became a lifestyle, you know?
The community continues to grow, but is this the beginning of a new movement or the peak of a social media trend? We spoke to Keith and Phil from the Pickle Depot about their involvement in this growing industry.
At first, I probably thought it was more of a trend where, you know, you pick it up, you play for a bit, and then people are just going to go back to what main sports that they used to play. You see that there is a huge potential for growth in our country, and not only in Malaysia as well. Like in the whole of Southeast Asia, you have like Vietnam, Thailand.
A lot of our capture group that we're trying to target are people of that age group that utilize both Instagram and TikTok. But at the same time, now we're exploring using WhatsApp communities, using WhatsApp to actually publicize to get different demographics of people involved in the marketing as well. Now that it's grown as a sport in Malaysia, there are different people from tennis backgrounds, squash backgrounds, badminton backgrounds who've gotten into it and they've taken it a lot more seriously. When the sport is taken more seriously and there's proper prize money for the games that you play in and the competitions that you play in, therefore people will take it more seriously and then creates more sustainability and a long-term place for the sport in the country.
It may be too early to call this a movement, but what's in store suggests that there's potential for something lasting. I'm Isha Rosli, reporting for InkSlingers TV.
And that's all the time we have for this edition of InkSlingers TV. I'm Zixuan.
I'm Yuxin. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.